Pledge of Allegiance in a moment of silence, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We will start our presentations. Superintendent.
Okay, I am honored to present Adam Gallagher with a small token of the board's appreciation and recognition of his dedicated service over the past 2 years as a student board representative. Adam, your thoughtful and honest contributions have provided the board with a meaningful and authentic window into the student experience. Your input has been instrumental in helping us make informed decisions that truly reflect the needs and interest of our students. We extend our heartfelt congratulations on your many accomplishments at Montville High School. You have distinguished yourself through your academic excellence, leadership, and commitment to your school community. As you take the next step in your journey to Western Connecticut State University, we wish you continued success and know you will make a lasting impact there, just like you did here at Montville. We are very proud of you. Okay, Jacob. This evening, we also want to take a moment to recognize and thank our talented videographer, Jacob Russell, who is also graduating and heading to UConn. Jacob has been an integral part of our Board of Education meetings, quietly behind the scenes, but always ensuring things run smoothly and professionally. We are incredibly grateful for your contributions and energy that you brought to this role. As you begin this exciting new chapter in college, we have no doubt that you will continue to shine. We wish you the very best and hope you'll look back on your time with us with pride. Good luck.
Thank you.
Next up, I would like to welcome Deborah Martin. Please join me in welcoming Deborah Martin, our new Director of Finance and Operations. Deb will start in Montville on June 9th. Deb brings with her a wealth of experience and expertise that make her an outstanding fit for this role. Deb's professional background makes her uniquely qualified for this position and to lead Montville into the future. Her deep experience in school business leadership and public school fiscal management and operations will be an asset to our district. Deb's references were highly complimentary of Deb's work, telling us that she looks for innovative ways to use funding. She is extremely knowledgeable, and her work is timely and accurate and simply exemplary. They said that it would be, in fact, a big mistake if we did not hire her, and I don't like to make mistakes. She was described as a team player and a great person to know. We are very excited to welcome her to our team and look forward to her leadership that she will bring to this critical area. Join me, please, in welcoming Deb to our team. I would be remiss if I did not take this opportunity to thank John. John has been, I'm going to get emotional because he's been wonderful, but anyways, he has been serving as our interim, and he has been just critical to us getting through the last couple of months. You are the calm. Like, when I really thought about it, I'm like, he is the calm, as we really navigated some complex processes during this time. So thank you for being part of our team. I know where to find you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So thank you, John.
Okay, and I would like to welcome our new board member, Norm Sylvia. I met Norman about 2 weeks ago, had a nice conversation with him, was curious about his interest in the Board of Education. He has 2 children in the Montville public school system, so that's good. We now have a board member with somebody who has children in the school system, which I think is always good to have that participation. Norm has friends in the education world in the southern part of the state, and he indicated to me that he was interested in giving back to the community. He's been involved with baseball, particularly with the Galvin Lane project when the Little League field was updated. So we look forward to working with you, Norm, and having you a member of our team. So nice welcome to Norm, please. All right, next item, alterations to the agenda. We are going to move 8C and D to a new number 13A after remarks board members. That is, move item 8C, end of year evaluation of the superintendent for consideration in executive session, and 8D, extension of contract to the superintendent to the end of the meeting, which is what we're doing right now.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none, thank you, board. All right. Citizens' comments regarding agenda items.
If I may, Mr. Chairman, my name is Joseph W. Gaskins, 89 Park Avenue. I'm on the town council with the former mayor of the town. I want to comment on item 8B on the new business. Consideration and action to resolve the Board of Education's authorization to deposit of $143,354 representing its total unencumbered balance to the 2023-24 operating budget. Why not give that back to the town? You got it from the taxpayers in the beginning, a year ago. Give that back to the town, maybe we can move forward. And the other thing that I would like, I've asked, can I please get a balance in the 2% fund? Is that possible? I don't know why I shouldn't be able to get it, to be honest with you. Okay. Are we able to get that? Thank you.
Any comments from the public? Any comments from the public? One more time, any more comments from the public? Thank you, public. Letters of communications.
I have 3 to read tonight, so bear with me when I slaughter. And that's not one of my strong suits. My first one is a resignation letter from Lisa Terry. I am writing to formally resign from my position as a member of the Montville Board of Education effective immediately. The decision has not come easily, but due to personal reasons, I feel that it is in the best interest of both myself and the board that I step down at this time. It has been an honor and a privilege to serve our school district and contribute to the important work of supporting our students, staff, and community. I am grateful for the opportunity to have worked alongside such dedicated and passionate individuals. I have learned a great deal, and I am proud of what we have accomplished together during my tenure. I remain supportive of the board's continued efforts and wish everyone the best moving forward. Sincerely, Lisa Terry. And the next one is from Melissa Dunziger of 140 Pruitt Place, Oakdale. I am unable to attend tonight's meeting, but I wanted to reach someone at the Board of Education to share my opinion as a Montville resident and mother of a Montville High School student. I hope this makes it to the right hands and can be shared along with feedback from other parents tonight. We moved back to Montville when my daughter Jayden was first entering middle school. We had a good experience with Tile. We were impressed with the amount of dedication of the staff and were touched to see our daughter's teachers at track meets and town events. We realized then that many of her educators were fellow residents. It gives us a feeling of being a true community school, and the feeling was not lost on my daughter. She had suffered a loss in 7th grade and found much support and care in her teachers, guidance counselor, and administrators at top. That support and sense of community became the defining factor when she elected to pass up her spot at Grasso Tech in favor of attending, in her words, my hometown school. She has continued to appreciate those ideas now as a high schooler. Her teachers and school administrators are vital to her continued success. They are more than just her teachers. They are coaches, they are mentors, and they have a sense of community that extends beyond the classroom for many students. And we, as a family, appreciate that many of our teachers are also our neighbors. Our community is special. Our teachers are too important to our children, and their emotional and academic success depends largely on the amazing teachers throughout our school system. They are a resource whose value cannot be argued. We do not support cuts to our education system. We support our teachers and stand with them. One more from Laura Harris. I have sent a message to the chair of the town council as well. However, I wanted to send it along to the BOE also. Thank you. Good morning. I am unable to attend the BOE public hearing tonight, but I wanted to express my concerns with the proposed budget that would lead to teacher cuts and reduced programming for our children. I have a first and third grader at Oakdale Elementary, and they are wrapping up their best school year to date. Their teachers, Mrs. Sprague and Ms. Faradine, have been incredible. My children have grown, learned, felt safe, and loved the school this year. We have been in the Montville Public Schools for 2 years, and the transition has been hard for my kids. They left their friends and school that they had been in full-time since 3 years old. The staff and support of the school has made all the difference. I remember calling the school last year worried about how my 8-year-old was handling the transition, and the school made sure a social worker was able to chat with him about everything going on. As a federal employee, I have faced a challenging past few months. Again, the school community has supported my kids. Cutting this budget will be harmful for not only my children, but all the incredible children and families who call Montville home. Let's continue to give our kids the best possible education and community to grow in. Thank you. And it says Laura Stademan. That's all I have.
Thank you, Bob. Next item, approval of the consent calendar. Second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none, thank you. Budget update. John, please.
So as we're getting closer to the year, it's the year-end balance is starting to become much clearer. You know, even when you're in March and April, there are still plenty of things to change. They can change, but nothing has gone really against us except one thing I'll mention in a second. But you know, it was not a colder than expected winter. Sometimes that can hurt you, or there can be other costs that go up. But we just things have been going according to plan. So right now everything looks like we're going to end at zero. We're at the point of time in the year where we're doing things that are only done at the end of the year. For example, employees that might choose to receive a waiver in exchange for not signing up for health insurance. Those are all being paid this week, so we know what that number is. We know what our staffing number is. We also here try to place a lot of our orders, our classroom materials for August and September. We like to do that in the spring. Almost all of those orders have gone out as we plan within the budget allotment. So there just aren't that many things left that we don't know about, which makes it easy to predict. The one thing that will come back to you at your next meeting, we're going to ask you for a transfer, and that's in the area of special education out-of-district tuition. those really are hard to predict. You're trying to predict some of that almost a year and a half ahead of time, and things change. But we've done a examination of any of the unpaid bills that haven't come in yet. Some schools bill you for the month, some by the day, some for extra services that the kids have in their IEPs. But we know what those are. And that line item, we expect to go over budget by about $125,000. I'm led to believe that in other years it's also been difficult to predict. But where we'd like to cover that from will be some of our line items for the different positions we have. It's been it's a difficult time to fill positions, not just for us, but everywhere, both our full-time positions and our substitute positions. It's hard to get substitutes for almost everything these days. And what happens is there's periods of time where we don't have the positions filled. Administrators have to cover, other people have to cover the work. It's really just, it's another, I'm describing the turnover that happens just from regular things, but it's been so hard this year. We think there's $125,000 in those salary lines that we're going to recommend be used for the special education shortfall. And that's how I think things will end up at the end of next month.
All right. Any questions for John?
Very succinct, thank you. It's very clear.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, unfinished business, HVAC updates. Guess we'll go right.
We'll go to Willie.
Hello everyone, good evening. So I wanted to report on a condition that was included in the award from the building committee last month. So we have received confirmation from the town that installing air conditioning in some of the spaces, not all, does not affect the validity of the bonding referendum previously approved by the voters. The contracts for the HVAC projects at Oakdale and Murphy have been prepared by our architects and also has been signed by both the contractor, Actionair, and our superintendent, Diane. The equipment has been ordered or is being ordered, and the next steps are to receive the work schedule from Actionair. Lastly, the bid specs for finalizing the remaining 4 schools, Montville High School, Kyle Middle School, Mohegan, and Palmer are being worked on. So we are expected to hold some walkthroughs and bid openings this coming month in June. That's all I have for now.
Thank you.
I just want to add that Willie, John, and Julie at the town worked really well together and on this project. So I feel really good. Everybody's in agreement from the town and on our side as well. So good news. Thank you.
Any questions for? All right, thank you. Next item, unfinished business, review of possible revisions to the 26, Board of Education budget. Superintendent?
Yep. As we await the final budget allocation, I just wanted to update the board that we've been working diligently behind the scenes to review and refine our internal spending. Our goal has been to identify efficiencies and make responsible reductions wherever possible without compromising the quality of education and the services we provide our students.
Any questions for Superintendent?
Does that mean that some revisions have been made or not?
So we've been, and when we talk and get the final allocation, we'll share it as a team, we'll decide, but we have definitely identified areas that could be cost-saving measures for sure.
And does that impact our ability to call back people who receive notice that they might not have positions, or are we still in between on that?
We're still in between. I will share that we did, as I had told you, there were 2 retirements we were waiting for, or I shouldn't say we were waiting for, we were told that were going to happen. One happened, the other one didn't, so the one will have an impact potentially. That piece we're still working on to see.
And by when may we know something, do you think?
I would say with it, well, with one move is going to involve meeting with teachers, and we have a current opening and seeing if, you know, it's the domino effect, but I do believe one would happen before we meet again because it's related to a retirement.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, unfinished business, capital plan discussion, Diane?
Yes. Again, this is just an update so that everybody's aware. John and I have been discussing regularly the capital plan. John has been in conversation with Julie and at the town, and she confirmed that the mayor's recommended budget for the capital plan, which was a total of $857,200, was specifically for 3 projects, which were the second year of a 3-year lease purchase agreement for classroom smart boards and charging carts, replacement of the underground fuel tank with an above-ground tank, which you know is being based on a state mandate because of its age, and replacement of 2 full-size school buses due to age according to our replacement schedule. I wanted you to be aware of that because we will need to discuss a few items that were on the capital budget or on the capital plan next time when it pertains to IT. Some of those were at end of life that we would need to consider, you know, an option on how to handle that.
Any questions for Superintendent on that? So in case you're wondering, the reason why the mayor picked our capital projects is that's a state statute. I don't know where that came from, but it's a state statute. The town gets the authority on capital improvements to make a decision on capital improvements, not on operating budget. So that's the difference from previous years past. I think the superintendent explained the rest of it clearly, but I want you to know where that comes from, how he picked those particular projects as town's authority to do that for capital improvement.
Can you clarify how, if there are state mandates on, like the tank, how can that be put off? Can you help me understand that?
It can't be put off. We need to, I believe it's by the end of 2026, it must be removed by state statute. So I'm sure that's why that was selected,
Okay.
you know, I would think. But it does need to be done.
But there are opportunities for grants.
Pardon me?
There's opportunity for grants. There's also opportunity for us to use the Public Works garage temporarily. So there's some,
Wiggle room?
I think there is. I think there is, yes. Good question.
Mr. Chairman, you've mentioned opportunities for grants a couple of times.
Yes.
In regard to the fuel tank specifically. What grants are those and have they been applied for?
Well, they're deep grants and they have not been applied for, to my knowledge. My information came from talking to the mayor last year when we were actually at the bus garage, you know, having a little tour of the capital projects, and when it came up about it needing to be done. But that is to answer your question, no, I believe they are deep grants.
And is that something the town would apply for, or?
We could certainly look into it. I don't know what level. My feeling now is we could certainly work with the town. I have no problem with that whatsoever. I think the tank project is something that goes to the end of 26, and I'm not sure that's a priority, but again, they make that decision.
I'm concerned because apparently there might be grant money out there, but if we don't ask, we're not going to get any.
Well, so I can make that a personal action item, if you'd like, myself, and ask about it. I have no problem asking the mayor or the chairman of the town council.
Well, I'd just like to be clear as
Yeah.
to if if there is a grant, are we as a school system supposed to apply, in which case perhaps we should? Or is the town supposed to apply, in which case we should ask them if they plan to go forward on that?
Sounds good.
And by when?
Yep, I'll take that for an action item.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Under new business, assign board member Norman Sylvia III to vacancy on policy committee.
Welcome to the team, Norman. We are putting you to work. It's a lot of fun. It is. So we have a vacancy, so we're going to put you on there. We meet on the Tuesday right before Board of Education meetings when the need arises. I will tell you in June, we do plan to have a policy meeting. So we typically meet around, it's either 5 or 5:15, depending on the volume, right before this meeting.
Okay. Thank you for volunteering.
Right.
Voluntold, yes. Yes. All right. 8B, consideration and action to resolve that the Board of Education authorizes a deposit of $143,054.94, representing its total unencumbered balances from the 2023-2024 operating budget into a non-lapsing educational fund in accordance with policy P3171.1.
I'm going to turn this over to John.
Sure.
So I had been planning to report on the balance that's in the fund now anyway, so that the question was timely. And what I have in front of me, and I'm willing to share it, of course, is a email dated April 28th from the town finance director, Julie Chapman, because I had asked her how much there was. And, you know, as you look at the town's annual report, if you call it the CAFR, sometimes they're pretty hard to read, so it's not easy to pick these things out. But what she said was, I also clarified with the auditors, since they are here, and they've been in town hall, and they said it is, quote, education carryover, that's what it's called in this multi-page report. They said it is education carryover, $739,574 as of June 30th, 2023. I'll read that again. $739,574 as of June 30, 2023. So what you had in your board materials this week was a couple things, a copy of the policy that guides our decision tonight, but also you got a line-by-line printout of the 23-24 budget, that when you add up the total or add down, it's the $143,000 we're asking you to move, again, from the 23-24 budget. The reason we can do it now, the town audit is not finished completely. They're very close, but they finished our part. They've signed off on the expenditures, the encumbrances, and the budget, so therefore the unencumbered balance. So our numbers agree. So what would happen if you approve this resolution, to the $739,000, we add 143, bringing the new total as of June 30th, 2024 to $882,628. Now, a couple months ago, you made a motion, you resolved to draw some money out of that for the financial software upgrade. It was about $49,000 and change. So we could subtract that from the 882, and that would give you an idea of what's there undesignated after you make this, if you pass this motion favorably. Please answer any questions of how it works or anything like that. I think you've also done this in other years.
I have a question. So the maximum is 2% of the budget, so.
Well, the maximum you can put in any given year is 2% of your operating budget, so I was hoping that I just calculated it. So for 23-24, if we could put 820,000 in if we had it, we don't. But there's no limit on what that can grow to right now. So you can put in 2% every year if you have it.
Good question. Do we have a motion so we can get going here?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All right, thank you. Discussion.
So if the number is right on the spreadsheet is correct, that's 0.33% of what our operating budget was in 23-24? Okay.
1% would be 420,000 or
Right.
under that.
So that was pretty close.
Pretty close budgeting.
Less than a half of 1%.
Exactly.
That's a pretty close budget. Let me speak candidly on this as I try to all the time. I've sat on both sides of the fence counseling here. The whole purpose of this money is in the event that we have something that the town cannot afford. In other words, if there is, these funds are used for one-time only type of items. Like we wouldn't bring back 7 teachers out of the 2% fund because that's a recurring cost. The idea of this, and the state has supported it, and they've changed it from 1% to 2%, and they've taken it now, given us the ability that we can make that decision to put it in our own account. We don't have to go through the town council anymore, or the legislative body. Here's my rub here, okay? Our budget got cut $874,000. And essentially, it's mostly operating. I can't speak for the superintendent. This money can't use it for that, right? We can use it for servers. We can use it for physical things, one-time off things, one-time expenses that the superintendent or staff believe are necessary to get the day's work done. I'm inclined to support this simply because we are going to be in a position here, I think, in terms of capital improvements, where we're probably going to have to use a significant amount of this 2% fund. And I have no regret using it either, none whatsoever. I think that's our help to the town, where you use that money and it offsets the capital that you ask from the town. So I am in support of depositing this in our 2%. As John pointed out, it's $49,000 for the server upgrade. For finance, I know there's a couple other things which the superintendent has talked about in our capital plan currently that need to be addressed, that the mayor is not seeing in his judgment call. And those are going to be some expenses that we're going to have to absorb, and I fully support absorbing them with that money. So those are my comments.
Well, there's one other very important thing that the 2% fund the legislature put in for was unanticipated special education costs that go beyond your budget. And literally, the proposed budgets I've been seeing from the state legislature, even with the governor throwing $40 million, the conservative estimate of the state is about $600 million behind on special education costs coming up in the next year or two. That are going to have to be picked up by the towns, and that's a fact that you can read in the paper. So that's the other big important thing, that fund can go away rapidly if we have some unanticipated special education costs.
It can be as one kid with significant issues can be a $250,000 kid in one school year. I had one of those. So it can wipe it out very, very fast. So if you end up with 2 students just by chance, there goes $500,000.
Yep.
And it's not that unusual. So that's a concern.
Go, Tina, thoughts?
I just I don't see an end to that cost for special ed. We're either outsourcing or we're taking in new students, and there's no remedy. There's no one to decide what the cap is for this thing. You know, there's got to be a cap somewhere, somehow. I don't know if it's the state or the schools or what it is, but I don't even want to anticipate next year's budget. It's just going to be outrageous.
But I think the concern that we're talking about, right, is we've got this $800,000. We're talking about maybe using it for capital improvements because of other shortfalls. But as the chairman stated, you know, and what Bill was saying, that in the past that has been kind of identified for that unanticipated, maybe 1 if we're lucky, or 5 if we weren't, unanticipated special ed costs, because you guys create a budget that's very tight, and last year, really super tight, and excellent budgeting, but if you get just a couple of kids, that 2% that's what it's really there for. So if we start really looking at using it for capital, it's just a little scary. I think that's what you're trying to say, right?
Well,
It's a little scary if we start using it, but then if not, I guess the town just has to help. We
the
can't say
capital
no to the
benefits the
kids.
town, the capital outlay benefits the town and us both.
Right,
Right?
exactly.
So it's a win-win for both
And
of
then
us.
if that fund
Right.
is exhausted, then the town just has to assist with whatever we have to do for the kids, right? Is that what?
Right, I mean, I wouldn't recommend, I'm going to be very clear, exhausting this
On capital, yeah, no, I get that.
all capital.
But if you get
The-
one kid
The
with
special ed
tremendous
issue is a
needs, it
significant
could.
piece, but we do have things, I believe, that we've all seen in our budget that are significant, that really are timely,
Yeah.
that need to be done through capital. Right.
And as we all know, costs are just going up,
Yeah.
up.
You know, the state has been for some time trying to regulate the cost because it's an extreme cost for outplacement in many ways, even as, you know, because we know the cost involved, what we do to keep as many students in district too as possible, where we're, you know, it impacts a lot, right? You know, morale, you know, everything, even in just worry for the student and making sure they're at the appropriate. You never want to be making decisions of not doing something because of the cost, right? But it's set up as such because you're right, Erica, one placement can be extremely high. We are, as a team, getting better for the most part of looking into the future of, okay, you know, this student, we've done a lot this year, we can increase it, but we don't know how much longer we could, you know, work with the student and feel like we're doing justice to the student in-house, which we all know being in your neighborhood school is the best thing possible for the students until you're no longer servicing their needs. So as the state is looking to regulate like putting a cap, like you said, on some of these things, we have yet to really see that happening.
Yeah,
And that's unfortunate because the cost of everything's going up. And we have some extremely, I just received a letter from, it might have been I can't remember, but their increases for one-to-one tutoring, a para, you know, when, a lot of times when a student gets outplaced, automatically it's like a one-to-one, right? So they're outplaced plus a one-to-one. So those costs are going up. The hourly rate for social work, school psychologists, and everything else is going up. So we incur all those fees. And then transportation is just another fun thing on top of that. So.
Looking right at you, Norm, here's your chance,
I think they-
right out of the gate, first night.
No, I think you guys said it well. You know, I agree with the special education and funds like that. I think to move it forward, it's a big expense.
Bonnie?
So people have been talking about two different ways that we would need to spend that money. And I just want to point out the 822,000 plus what we're considering putting in there is almost $1 million. And we do have needs. I think that it is wise to save money for special education overflow or overruns because it isn't reimbursed, you know, at a high rate. But have we needed to use large sums in the past to?
I do believe there was a time that we did, but I want to say maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I remember the education costs were so high. Remember, I don't remember the amount, but we were unprepared for the number of students, and it was probably post-COVID, immediately post-COVID when everybody was back in. I do believe we had to go into the 2% for our placement.
In years, I can answer it also, in years past, we've also had to go into 2%. Remember one year, over 240,000 just to balance our budget because we were in the red at the end of the year. Yeah. So we have made some large withdrawals.
I would just, I think that we should consider using some more money if we are not getting what we need to use for capital purchases. And when you mention that, Chair, do you have something specific in mind?
Well, I mean, I didn't want to go into details of our capital plan because it's not really the time to talk about it until we get approval.
Because everything isn't finished.
Right, when everything's
cooked.
finished, but I do have some thoughts. I think we all have some thoughts. I mean, obviously the upgrade for the finance department, that was
Yeah.
something that we agreed on quite a couple of meetings ago.
Right.
Because we really felt it had to be done, and that was almost 50K.
I guess I'm just concerned about kind of stockpiling a large amount of money when we do have needs. And as you said, it hasn't all been finalized, you know, where we'll get the money for capital, but I still find myself worried about stockpiling money when we only spend 49,000.
So far.
Won't be in there long.
Yeah, I respect your point. I understand it. I am not a big fan. In fact, I said to the superintendent just today, I don't like having this much money in our 2%. But I do believe we're in a position, once we get approval from the town council, our final budget and capital, that we'll be able to move accordingly as a team and decide where we want to keep a little bit for special ed, because obviously we realize that's important too. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the big number either, but it's very nice to see, because I can remember when this was absolutely nothing for a long time. You're welcome. Carol?
Well, I certainly support moving the money into the 2% fund. We definitely need to do that. And then, you know, we will look at those capital issues and we will decide based on, you know, numbers, like how much is it? And I agree that we can't be profligate about spending 2% money on capital to the extent that we don't have a reserve for special ed. At the same time, I don't think we need to spend nothing on capital and wait for those 8 students to show up after we've done our budget, as they did that one year. And hopefully will not again happen that way.
Bob?
Well, I've already said I'm
Okay.
for it.
All right, thank you, board. Good conversation. Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none?
Abstain.
You abstained? We have, I can't even count. We have 6 approved, 1 abstention, none opposed. Okay, thank you. All right. Go to informational items. Certified staff retirement recognitions. The If you're interested, the board, and I hope you are, meet at the central office on June 4th at 8:30 a.m., please. Palmer graduation, June 11th, 6 p.m., will be held at the Montville High School. I kind of liked it outside. I get why you're not doing it down there, I get it. Leonard J. Tile Middle School, June 12th, 5 p.m. Montville High School graduation, June 13th, 6 p.m., Dodd Stadium, very exciting.
Are they gonna send information on where to meet for the high school graduation?
Yeah, we'll send information.
All right. Committee and liaison reports, Montville Education Foundation.
They had their awards meeting, so I was disinvited. That's how that works.
What? Oh, awards meeting.
When they do their awards, they don't have anybody else join them.
Okay. Learn.
Coming to the end of our year, I'm inviting the superintendent to our June 8th meeting at 8 o'clock in the morning. We'll give her breakfast, and then at 8:30, there's a presentation on the learn what we've done for the year. Then after that, we'll have our regular meeting. We've approved our tentative budget for next year. Learn is not a taxing authority, so when we do our budget, it's off of the best information we have, and it will change the next month. If we get more students coming in, or if we send more kids back to the districts, that changes our budget. It's currently, we have a $52 million budget for the upcoming year to service students and to run our 4 magnet schools. And other than that, things going along fine.
Thank you. So the next one's CAVE and NSBA. Are we CAVE at all?
We are not members of CARE.
So we're going to take that off. NSBA, please.
Well, I went last April, as Learn sent me to the NSBA conference in Atlanta. It was a little different. Instead of being a Saturday, Sunday, Monday conference, it was a Friday, Saturday, Sunday conference. It is always good. I always go there and learn something. It's professional development for board members, and it's the networking opportunities. I wish we would put going to the CAPS convention in November back onto our budget, because I feel you all have something to learn there, and it's an opportunity. Other than that, a friend of mine, Leonard Lockhart, won the election for president-elect. So next year at NSBA's conference in San Antonio, he will assume the presidency of the NSBA. I've known Leonard a long time. He's a good friend. But yeah.
Wow. That's exciting.
It is.
That's really exciting, seriously.
I actually brought
Wow.
Leonard into CAVE. He's the current CAVE president, and now he's going to be the NSBA president for a year. He's a great guy. He's the chair of the Windsor board.
Thank you, Bob. Montville Youth Services Bureau. Okay, we'll pass on that tonight. Adam?
Right. I'll start off today by introducing our new student liaison for next year, Dimitri Charles. Dimitri is a student athlete with a strong passion for sports and Montville athletics. He's a versatile competitor both in the classroom and on the field, so he'll be our junior representative next year. The National Honor Society final project for this year is a handful of fundraisers we'll be doing. Our first of the ones we're doing was a spike ball tournament, which we held last week, and spike ball is just a lawn game. A lot of the seniors have been getting really into it and playing it during lunch, so we decided to have a tournament, and it had a pretty good turnout. And we'll also be holding car washes over the course of the next month. The money we raise will go towards Lillian Hall, who's an alumni of Montville, who's actually recently hospitalized from a car crash, so we're all praying for her to get better and for sending some money her way. Our tennis team has been performing very well this season and so far is undefeated in our division. We're currently ranked 9 out of 32 in our class size across the state, so that's very good. And overall, we're just really happy with our performance this season. We have, I think, of the 13 people on the team, 9 of them are seniors. So next year, the team will be very small. We're hoping to get a lot of freshmen, but this year has been a really great year. The National Art Honor Society recently had elementary schoolers draw monsters, which the high school members actually made with clay and fired them and everything, and we're going to be giving those back to the elementary schoolers to immortalize their work. But the upcoming event I'm probably most excited about is the senior movies. The senior ECE English class is holding their 2nd annual film festival where students write, film, and edit their own short film. It will be shown on June 3rd in the auditorium, and I encourage everyone to come see the hard work we all put in for our final projects this year, as the premiere is open to all and there's no admission fee, so it'll be a great night. Finally, the music department will be having their spring concert on May 22nd, and we'll be having a rock concert at the Oakdale Pavilion on June 6th. As this is my last report to you all, I want to share my appreciation for the time I spent in the Montville school system. I have a couple stories to tell that remind me of how much people in these schools care. In the 2nd grade, my teacher went on maternity leave, and we had Miss Mann as a substitute, who's currently a culinary arts teacher at the high school. We were learning about frogs, and Miss Mann went to a park and grabbed frog eggs out of a pond and brought them into the classroom for us to see. So we washed our hands, and we were able to poke at them and hold them. And it was a really cool experience, especially for a classroom of 7-year-olds. I'm not sure how allowed it was, but it goes to show that the things our teachers do for us and how much they want to have us enjoy school. Another time in middle school, I had a friend express thoughts of self-harm to me. I told the school counselor, and fortunately that person is still present at school to this day. I just have so much respect for the person who's able to keep them safe, and I'm glad we have people that can in our community. Others aren't as fortunate to have that help. Pretty much all of my high school teachers have been unbelievably helpful in allowing me to achieve everything I have. And Mr. Richmond has been one of my biggest supporters through all of my writing, and I couldn't thank him enough via the advice and critiques and praise he's given me in my classes and in other things like advisory and during poetry. I also want to say our tennis coach has been such a great guide in the 3 years he's been our coach. He always brings snacks and drinks and does so much for us. I cannot appreciate him more. For a long time, I thought being academically successful and athletically successful were mutually exclusive, but his support, along with the support of all my teammates and all the work that all of you have done towards giving us the resources to practice and play and all of that, has given me so much athletic confidence that I didn't know I had in me. I spent 12 very gratifying years in these schools, and I cannot put into words how thankful I am for the staff, administrators, and everyone else who cares about the students that come through here. From the bottom of my heart, thank you.
Thank you.
Remember, Adam, when you first joined us too, you were a little on the quiet side, and definitely all about tennis. We remember all about tennis. But it has been a pleasure to watch you grow, and we're going to miss you. You've been excellent.
Principals?
I'll go first. It's a busy time, but exciting time of the year. We finally get to see the fruits of our labor. Just to highlight a few events, our Unified Prom was a major success, followed by our Senior Prom, which was another success. One of the better senior proms in recent memory. Kids were well behaved. We always appreciate that. And but it seemed like they had a great time at prom. The venue was great. Coming up, we have our National Honor Society inductions. Adam spoke about the choir concert on Thursday. There was National Honor Society inductions. We have senior outing. We have junior prom. We have underclass awards, senior awards, and graduation. So really a fun and exciting and busy time for us, and we really look forward to wrapping up the year on a positive note.
I'll just piggyback off. I want the board to know we had a honor student for the first time that I am aware of, which remember goes back a long ways. That actually met the criteria to become considered for National Honor Society. Did not make the final cup, so to speak, but it's quite an honor that she was in the top 50%, correct, Rob? Right, and I believe, honestly, I believe that's the first time there's ever been a Palmer student who has achieved that much academic success to be considered. So I want you to know that. And then the other thing, I share this at every time I have a program tour or go to a PPT and talk about the Palmer program, but I just want to make sure the board realizes we're celebrating our 44th graduation this year, as an alternative high school, and I tell parents all the time, I don't know a board that has been committed to alternative high school education for that long. I don't have any way to prove that kind of statement, but I don't know any other board in Connecticut that has supported alternative learning for that long. It's been 44 years. So, thanks.
We had our Pathways program visited Dave's school today at Palmer, and the student, our 8th grader, came back and was just on 10, just so excited and to visit the school and see the class sizes and walking around that building. So it was really nice to see that. Students come a long way, and he's going to be thrilled to attend Palmer. I need to let Dave know that today.
Yeah,
we end of the year, a ton of events. People say you're winding down, but we're really winding up. I mean, there's so many exciting things that we have going on. We did a Best Buddies prom with Amanda's help. New London and East Lyme middle schools joined us for that. It was a great event. Our science department, 6th grade science department, we raised 200 salmon this year. The salmon field trip was canceled because there was heavy rains that day. So Ms. Toll and Ms. Dunn released the 200 salmon the day before. They say on average only 2 of those salmon survived, but I like to think the tile salmon are a little bit stronger, so I think we got at least 10 in there that are still alive somewhere in that river. We have SBAC testing that's finishing up this week. We have until May 30th to complete makeups, but we're in a good place with participation rates. And we have the band concert going on tonight. 8th grade field trip is to Lake Compounds, so there's just a lot of good events going on that we look forward to.
Over at Mohegan, just one thing to report on. Last Thursday night, we hosted our 2nd annual SEL night, focusing on our students' mental health awareness with games, activities, even they had yoga sessions there for all participants. Our social worker, Brianna Strychars, led a small army of volunteers. We had about 15 staff members come back and volunteer for that event, which was very well attended. We had about 100 participants of the Mohegan community participating in the night. So last year we had 80, we're up to 100 this year. So really, really good event that we started last year and hope to continue.
Just to piggyback on what Greg was saying, we are winding up for sure. There's a lot going on at the end of the year. Kindergarten orientation tomorrow. I think as we're ending the year, we're already preparing for next year too, which is wild. They've done class lists already, at least started that process. So busy. We were actually at a staff meeting today trying to plan a couple more dates, and it's hard fitting some of those things in there. But lots of fun things planned for the end of the year. Award ceremony, 5th grade graduation, and we're wrapping up state testing too. We're in a good place with that.
Thank you. Willie, ball field track, status.
It starts tomorrow.
That's what I like to hear. Starts tomorrow. Excellent. Very excited. Very excited. Thank you very much. Appreciate it, all of you. All right, Assistant Superintendent.
Okay, in terms of professional development, on May 8th, we had a 2-hour PD session. All of our educators engaged in state-mandated training in the identification and prevention of adult sexual misconduct against children, as well as vertical articulation meetings in order to create fair and balanced classrooms. At the secondary level, staff wrapped up their work on Vision of the Graduate, which has been a heavy lift and most likely will continue, but they had a lot of work to do this year towards that. As Greg stated, we have begun our state assessments and are really almost wrapping up in English, math, science. We know that this is very important. The schools have done a great job setting up testing situations and making sure that all has gone smoothly, which I don't know what to say, but so far, so good. And our state testing will end on May 31st. So thank you to everyone who made that possible.
Thank you. Superintendent.
Yes, I want to begin by introducing Lauren Tierney. I should have done that at the beginning of the meeting, I'm sorry. Lauren has agreed to be our Board of Education Secretary, so she'll be joining us monthly. She currently works over at Title, and we're very excited to have her join our team here. Thank you, Lauren, and we will proofread your minutes, which I'm sure will be perfect.
Please do.
So thank you. As you've heard, it has been a very busy month. I will share that we've had, just to repeat, some very, very special events, namely the Unified Prom at the high school, National Junior Honor Society induction at the middle school, and we also had the Title Buddies Unified Dance. We celebrated our wonderful, fabulous teachers, and we also had staff appreciation this month as well. In between all that, we've had end of the year evaluation meetings, a lot of special education and support staff meeting, awards, celebrations, upcoming promotions, and budget meetings. So, and just like somebody else said, we're beginning the process of scheduling classes for next year, as that usually begins about now, and we try and get things as finalized as possible before we send our teachers off for their well-deserved break over the summer.
That's it.
That's it.
All right. Citizens' comments? Any citizens' comments? One more time, citizens' comments. Hearing none, we'll go around the table for board comments. Start with you, Tina.
I just want to thank all of you again. You're almost at the finish line for the school year. And I mean, I have somebody that I know in all of your schools, and I just think you're doing a great job. I want to thank you very much.
Bob?
Oh, nothing to add. You guys are all doing a great job. It's been a great year.
Carol?
I would second what Tina said. Thank you for a great year. You make it look like it's easier than we know that it is. So you look like ducks unruffled on the surface, paddling like all get out underneath. And we appreciate you, all of you.
Bonnie?
I want to actually thank Town Councilor Kate Southard. In one of her many roles, she's the chair of the...
Just Kate, you want to thank Joe?
Just Kate. One of her many roles, she's the chair of the Democratic Town Committee. And Kate emailed all members of the committee, at least, to ask people to contact their Connecticut legislative leaders, in particular Senator Martin Looney, and the government, to request that the legislature please fully fund both the educational cost sharing and special education excess costs. As we've discussed today, the state is not funding things that they should be funding, and in fact, I read that they're cutting the education cost sharing amount to Montville. And in fact, many small communities in eastern Connecticut. And the amount for Montville slated to be $43,000 less. And our legislators for Montville work hard to get us the money that we need, and they say that eastern Connecticut's overlooked, small towns, small rural communities are overlooked, and they need our help to let people in Hartford know that we need the money and that we deserve the money too. So thank you, Kate, for making people aware that we need to do this, and this should be helpful.
Erica?
Just appreciate you guys so much. I always say it, and I just want to have the opportunity to say thank you again for all your hard work, far beyond your working hours. You guys are awesome. Thank you.
It's pretty much the same same as what they're saying. I appreciate all you guys' hard work. Without you guys, it can't be done. Another successful year, I think, from what I hear. And like I said, I look forward to the future moving forward.
So I will close by saying that I have a lot of admiration for education, teachers, staff, regardless of what level you are, because you're shaping a child's life. That's a big deal. You know, I work with software and testing and, you know, material things. You shape a person's life. So I thank you for doing that. I do think there is some sacrifice in one's life to take this on and do it as a career. But I thank you. I think you're doing a really good job. And the board and I do appreciate you very much. So, all right, at this time, we'll entertain a motion to go in executive session.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none. Board will be in executive session at time.
Thank you.
Oh, and we're inviting the superintendent.
No, I don't.
Sorry. Sorry.
Okay.